Despite Mika's attempt to spoil the relationship between Mitsumi and Shima, well, Mitsumi ended up making a friend herself. A friend that I would say actually genuinely wants to be her friend. I don't know why I don't count Shima, but he's also a friend, alright? But we learned just a tiny bit about Shima, so it'll be interesting to dive more into his past and such. But if you liked the video, like the video. If you didn't like it, dislike it. But we are going to get started. Okay? Of course, of course. There, she's already thinking about what's gonna happen 50 years from now on. Oh? I was thinking, like, maybe she'll see this girl at the student council. Alright. I still can't get over that fucking brain fog that I was experiencing in the last episode, where I was like, oh, I wonder what Mitsumi's up to. I wonder if she's gonna join a drama class. Even though she clearly said in the last episode that she's going to join the student council. Huh. The way that the lyrics said that, like in a small gap somewhere around there, and like the way it just kind of slowly opened as he looks at Mitsumi. Maybe that's why she's here. Shallow players. Of course, of course. the shadow poncho, dude. All 26 of us. The himbo! No, she's over here like fellow friend. Oh, she's trying to... Oh, okay. Of course, of course. I found the Yuri ship! What the... Exploring a new and vast land. Then how do you fucking get in? Jesus Christ, that's like by the fucking minute. What? Down to the minute. Damn, dude, she's really hardcore. Oh, she wants to be the one who does it this time around? The TV. Yeah, this girl's gonna fucking die by the end of the episode. Wow, Star Max coffee. You even asked Boba? Goddamn. Oh, you were taken in. Well, she came out from the countryside, didn't she? You were swept away! That's right, peer pressure. To battle. You should try mixing it before you drink it. Yeah. Gotta figure out what he wants to do. Well, he only said that to get him away. Damn, she's halfway down her drink already. Mm-hmm. The little things that matters. Uh-oh. Just use your front camera. You're not gonna be able to... I don't know if she... yeah, you might have to... Wow, she did it! Oh, wait a minute. The phone... Why didn't you invite me? FOMO. You put people around you at ease. Well, after giving them a fucking fright of their life first. Could it be like a suspension bridge effect? Is that what it's called? Ooh, got the good picture. Bold, cutesy stuff. We're just going out with her friends, or oh, we're just going out to the movie? Ooh, damn, Kurume invited Kurume? Uh-oh. Oh, she just wanted to hang out with... Oh, no! Oh, no! Oh my god. The horror of those 3D models. Well, at least she got to keep her sweater. Hey, those are some date lines right there. Shy. Oh, Mika. She's really out here fucking competing. Thank the fuck God the guys aren't going to fucking see this. Or they're not going to understand the amount of hard work you've put that into this. Uh-oh. 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 Oh my god. It's so fun. Of course she's sitting right in between. Oh, he's giving her a compliment. Aww, Yuzuki's just trying to be friends. God, that's one flat tiramisu. Oh, a whole box of caramel popcorn. Uh-oh. Friends! Salted buddies! Mitsumi's like right behind you guys. Look at her. I can't... Look at her fucking de-weaponizing herself. I mean, understandable. Oh, there goes his whole fucking popcorn. Wait a minute. Why aren't there any commercials happening in the theater right now? Damn, dude, she texted this so quickly. Must be swipe texting. Ah, you helped him. Wow. It's like the world has stopped around you, huh? Alright. It's a nice episode. We got to learn a little bit more. Well, not to learn, we got to see more Yuzuki. We got to learn a little bit more about Mika as well. And we've got, we introduced to our other character, Kurume. And I know there's like those two other dudes that's like that hangs out with Shima and all that. And I assume they'll get their own episodes eventually. So we'll just see how that goes, huh? I'm gonna go write my notes. And we will be right back to the center. The government has tenure, so you can't join yet. Tenure? 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 I don't know. I never said that word in my life. I don't know how that... Tenure? Okay. So, the conditions under which land or buildings are held or occupied. The holding of an office. There you go. So, a term of office. Okay. So basically, yeah, so it's like, so it's like an election, right? You get it into, or like there's like a term when like you can join in on the whole thing of like the student council. Which is then why there's the whole Tsubame Society support team. Yeah, the support team, the Tsubame Society. Okay, I do want to see the page, which is, should be 7 o'clock? 7 around? Okay, so, yeah, student government has 6 people in total. And then there's the committees. And then there's the Tsubame Society. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so they have a holding, they have a term that they need to go through. And then, you know, in the next term, right, you can... I would assume try to join the student government or like get an election and all that. But alright. I recommend that. It makes every task smaller, each one giving you a sense of accomplishment. So I recommend it. and then I guess with this whole thing, right, with, she's the treasurer, no, she's the vice president. Or was she the hold on. He's the president. She's the treasurer. Okay. Yeah, so with, Takamine, talking about how she does, how she, plans everything minute by minute, which is just ridiculous. But it is very funny to see her showing that to Mitsumi, who is planning out this, like, I don't know, 50-year-long plan, right? and the way that she thinks in the beginning with her going and being like, all right, once I step in that student council room, right? And then she immediately thinks like, what's gonna happen 50 years later when she gets old and becomes the mayor and gets an interview on this TV show. And so, like, we know that she is meticulous in her planning. It's just that it's not as detailed as our treasurer here. Right? She's kind of playing it in like years, right? This is what I'm gonna do, and then there's like a big gap between all these other stuff. But here's this girl with a whole fucking plan minute by minute. Or some of it is minute by minute, right? Some of it you see is like 17 to 1708, like that's 8 minutes, and then the next thing is like 12 minutes, and then 15, it's just like, Jesus fucking Christ. And her reason for why she does that is, as she says, it makes every task smaller, and each one gives you a sense of accomplishment. And it's just like, damn, dude, like, maybe that's it for you, right? You're the person who really is on the wire, on the clock. It just really needs to do everything, you know, by the fucking clock and everything. But like, goddamn, way too much down to the wire. Like, that's gonna cause you a lot of fucking anxiety if, like, the moment one thing goes wrong. Which, you can kind of see it for Mitsumi sometimes when she thinks about, like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and then it's gonna affect me in the future where I'm gonna be a great mayor and helping out Japan and all that. And then it doesn't and then it kind of just, you know, and then she just ends up fumbling throughout the whole entire thing, as we've seen with episode 1 and 2. So, you know, sometimes it's nice to have something that's like having a nice detailed plan, but it's really hard to like try to get back on track once you fall right off of it. So, it's whatever. It's whatever. In such a narrow world, that's what it is. Your vibrant laughter resonates so beautifully. All right. Don't know what they were having in the conversation before, but we just have Yuzuki saying LOL. Don't worry, I'll save you before it comes to that. I'm sleepy now, so I'm gonna hit the sack. Alright. Oh, look at them, just been fucking texting with each other. How nice. I like that she also asked, you know, how to go with the student council. And then the fucking FOMO. Why didn't you invite me? Thanks for the invite. Oh, dude, what a fucking sticker. It's so sad. The FOMO, it's real. God. You know, I have a bad fashion sense. God, this is like an overload, dude. Got the fucking star bracelet, the ribbon purse, or a ribbon bag, and then the red plaid pants. And then we've got the 2 flower hairpins. Damn, dude, this is fucking overload right here. Honestly, it's a good thing Nao-chan fucking got you. No, it's a good thing that you're living with Nao-chan, who has you know, a fashion sense. Because if she had come like that, Jesus Christ, I mean, you would certainly give Mika a whole lot of confidence, that's for sure. He's a total mystery, oh no! Oh, is this supposed to be Tabasco sauce? But it just says taco sauce. Alright. Okay, so I thought I was just like rereading something wrong because I was talking and saying something at the same time when she said, I think I'm joining Camp Caramel and Salted. And then both of them are just... Anyway, we've got Yuzuki, who's like, you know, also trying not to laugh as well. You know, she's also trying not to laugh as well. She's... So datta. Okay, so there was a side of me that even found the drink tasty. Okay. Camp Caramel and Salted. Okay, and then... It's true that I don't like people like you, but I want to change that. I want to get to know you better. Okay. I suppose with Mitsumi saying that she is in both camps, right? She's in the caramel and the salted, even though she was originally just caramel. Right now she's just like, oh, this is great, alternating the 2 of them. Right now I'm in both camps. I suppose with what Kurume, I'm still trying to remember all the names right now, with what Kurume was thinking, and also knowing that she's in the salted camp, right? Like, perhaps she didn't really like sweet things all that much, but as she said, she found some part in her that actually liked the drink. And so, And so I guess the whole thing is that, like, you know, even if you're in one part of the camp, doesn't mean that you can't go and try the other side, right? And try to perhaps understand the other people as well, and try to, as what Mitsumi did, get into both camps. If that make any sense, I feel like I'm making no sense right now. The heat is getting to me. It's so hot. I'll be honest, it can't be an Ike video without me complaining about how hot it is. Alright, so that was episode 3 of Skip and Loafer. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments down below. You know that I always like talking to you guys. For me, I thought that this was a pretty nice episode. I think I've said it. We've got introduced to our final girl. We still got our 2 dudes who are, you know, kind of just hanging around Shima right now. But again, I assume that they're probably gonna have their own episode. Maybe. I don't know. But it is nice to see Kurume. I will say, when it comes to Kurume and Yuzuki's voice, they're both definitely wasn't what I was thinking. Like, I genuinely thought that, for the most part, perhaps their voice respectively could be switched, but I'm talking about the pitch of their voice. But either way, I like it. I really like Kurume's voice. I'm always down for a female character with a bit of a deeper voice, right? Whether it's like deeper or huskier voice, that type of thing, and, you know, not the usual high-pitched anime voice, so I very much enjoy it. But we are going to go through this by characters because, well, as much as it is, I actually want to talk about Mika first. So, for Mika, I actually, despite her having, you know, a bit of a smaller role, we saw her and the way that she was doing stuff in the last episode, and this is more focused on Kurume and Yuzuki. So yeah, she's out here on the back burner, but we still got a little bit more information on her. And, you know, after looking at episode 2 again while I was editing and just kind of seeing how Mika was, you know, interacting with people, and with the way that Shima goes and tell Mika to, like, hey, maybe you should loosen up a little bit. Maybe then you'll actually have some fun. And that embarrasses Mika, as she thinks, like, why would you say it like that? To which I'm kind of like, if he says that to you and your response is, why would you say that to me? Why would you say that? It really feels like perhaps in her head she thought that she was in the right in doing all of this, right? The whole thing that Mika wanted to do initially is to do an investigation on the relationship between Mitsumi and Shima, which wasn't really an investigation because she wasn't really just out there observing them and all of that. She was literally getting involved in this whole thing. Right, she was manipulating Mitsumi, feeding her false information and such, and from what Yuzuki had said to Mitsumi, right, making fun of her accent and everything. So there's that whole thing, and then we bring that on over to this episode, where we see in Mika's point of view, where she says, as I thought, these two are super plain, and she starts gloating about how she has a much better fashion than Mitsumi and Kurume, and we go through this we go through this whole scene of well, actually, I forgot I need to look at this. Nao-chan's backpack. Oh, so Nao-chan gave her and so that's why Mika's just like, why does this backpack look so fucking expensive? But yeah, so here she is, you know, saying, these people are so plain. On the other hand, I read fashion mags cover to cover before school began. What a waste, maybe you should be studying instead, but, you know, yeah, we get all these, like, floral accessories, subtle, I don't know what that is, vivid yellow to up the freshness, you know, spring calls for gingham checks? Gingham checks. Damn, dude, all these fashion stuff that I don't know what the fuck's going on. And then she goes says, I almost feel bad about how good they're making me look. And it's like, wow, that fucking gloating, right? Perhaps to the most audience, right? You kind of already have, I would assume, a bad affinity towards Mika. So like when she says this, it's just like, shut the fuck up, that sort of thing. But I really like this scene because it shows that she's very much lacking in confidence. And this is her way to get some sort of confidence, because yeah, this is kind of how some people, I was gonna say activate, activate their body, activate their confidence. But you know, this is how some people operate. There you go. And the way that Mika operates is to bringing down others in order to make herself feel good. Because the moment she was starting to feel how good she feels, how good she looks, we get the announcement that Yuzuki is coming. Oh wait, I invited Yuzu too, and then she's just like, oh shit, and we've seen the way that Mika looks at Yuzuki, where she's like, oh, it's this beauty queen, right? And even when she was inviting all these people to karaoke, and then Yuzuki gets invited, not from Mika, right? Mika wasn't really inviting Yuzuki. Yuzuki just got tagged along with by the other people who were invited to the group. And so we saw Mika's just like, fuck, goddamn it, Yuzuki got invited into the group. It's yeah, I very much enjoy the scene just to see how her confidence it's like. It really showcases it to you in this scene as well, where the moment Yuzuki comes in, here is Mika just being in the background, right? She's a background character. She's not standing out anymore. Right, the camera was all on her before, but now that Yuzuki's in, who gives a shit? During their lunch, we've got more of Mika's stuff, which is her saying hot girls can make even the simplest outfits look great. And she reverts that back on herself, where she thinks they don't need to be all try-hard like me. Right? The lack of confidence. I'm not beautiful. I'm not beautiful like Yuzuki. Unlike Yuzuki, who could just rock a plain outfit and still be beautiful despite wearing the plainest outfit. Here's Mika, who has to try hard, who has to read magazine cover to cover in order to understand how fashion works and how to look good and all that, right? She's putting in a lot of effort in all of this, and as she starts to, as she's dwindling and she's starting to, her confidence is starting to whittle away, we see Shima, who notices, right? We see that Shima is the sort of guy who notices a lot of social quirks with people, right? He's the one who notices that Mika's the person who is a little bit too uptight right now and tells her to loosen up, and then he notices that she's not feeling confident in herself, and so he gives her, a nice little compliment that says, "Hey, you're pretty stylish. Are you into fashion and stuff?" And then we've got Mitsumi, who comes in, right? Just a fucking double team on Mika out here, the fucking compliment train. So yeah, just that nice little scene for Mika. I really appreciate it. Adds a little bit more layer into her character because, if you know me if you've been watching my reactions and discussions for a while, you know that I very much enjoy these types of characters, even if I don't like them. Alright, I like that sometimes they can be complex and they have certain things that makes them tick, and that's why they're operating this way, right? We still don't know if Mika operates the way that she does because of how she was treated back in middle school, right? We don't know if that is the case, and that's how she ends up growing into her high schoolhood. Right, as she continues growing into adulthood, and here she is in high school and all that. So yeah, we don't really know her past yet, what happens, and if something had happened in middle school, or if it's something had happened in elementary that has grown with her throughout this whole entire thing. So yeah, like I said, just nice little simple scene that adds a little bit more to Mika. And then the final thing that I have about Mika is just her pondering about Mitsumi and Shima's relationship. She's just like, he's just taken a liking to Iwakura-san as a friend, right? Right? Yeah, well, we'll fucking see about that, But moving away from Mika and heading on over to Mitsumi, we see that Mitsumi is attempting to join the student council, and as we see with this outfit, right, they're exploring new territory, or as she says, one small step for this girl and a huge step forward for her future self. And of course, Shima's the fucking alien, because of course he is, right? He's a mystery. But from what we learn is that the student council doesn't recruit members, they are on a tenure, so she can't exactly join the student council yet, but right now if she wants to, she can join their support team, the Tsubame Society, and I assume that's what she's going to do, right? She wants to do the student council, she wants to get into the whole becoming a leader, right? She wants to become a mayor, so she needs experience to lead and such. So, we'll just have to see how the student council goes, but that will be interesting as we get that kicked off. But until then, you know, that is put aside for now. Her next goal is to ask for Kurume's ID because she is interested in wanting to become Kurume's friend. Says, well, Kurume seems like she wanted to join the student council, so might as well try and ask her. And also she realizes that all the other times that she had gotten ID, right, the girls had asked her first, so she wants to be the one who takes the initiative, which is understandable because Kurume would never fucking ask for her ID. So it's a good thing that it was Mitsumi who decided to take the freaking initiative. And of course we've got this whole thing where I mentioned on how Mitsumi reminds me very much of Sawako, right? So we got a very Sawako-esque scene with her interacting with Kurume. God, she's really out here just getting so close to her, just being like, hey, Kurume. Like, scaring the fuck out of her, and I love that both of them are breathing heavy because she was walking really fast, so Mitsumi was just trying to catch up with her, and then there's just this horror-esque scene, right? It's just fantastic. She looks very serious, and as with what her friend Fumi says, right? She pouts a lot or something back in like the kindergarten years, and like she didn't really like her during that time, but eventually, as we see with Kurume, as we see with Kurume, right? Kurume opens up to Mitsumi, and that also goes with what Shima says too, right? You put people at ease, which kind of goes back to what I was talking about with Mika and how she gets confidence in putting other people down. Well, the thing with Mitsumi is that she kind of gives people confidence by fumbling all over the place, right? And like some people kind of find confidence in that, but like they don't do it maliciously, right? Or they don't provoke it, or that sort of thing. It's kind of like you need to do an audition, or not audition, but you need to go up to class and you need to present your work and such, and you're just like, fuck, I don't want to go up in class and present, you know, I'm gonna fail and I'm gonna do all this shit, this is gonna be really bad. But then the person who came before you, it just fumbled so hard, right? It kind of gives you some sort of confidence. I don't know if anybody ever felt that before, but I would assume a lot of you have felt that confidence of, well, I might be a mess, but hopefully I won't be as much of a mess as that person who just came before me. You ever get that feeling? It works the opposite way too, where the person before you did really well, and now you're just like, fuck, I have to compete with that, even though you don't have to compete with it, but you know, you feel that way. So that's kind of how it feels with Mitsumi, right? She makes a lot of people feel at ease because she's very much herself, and she does a lot of things that most people would feel is embarrassing, and even though she does get embarrassed, right, she's not, in people's head, I would assume, she's not afraid to do it. That can give people a lot of confidence. And just to put another fucking story out, I remember going to a water park with my friends, and there was this one point where we had to do, there were water platforms, right? And if you get on it, and you can't, it's really hard to balance on it, and you're gonna fall off, and the only way for you to, one of the only ways for you to traverse is by getting on the platform via the hanging rope and just using the rope to travel from platform to platform. So I remember not wanting to go there because, well, I'm very anxious and I don't want to embarrass myself because embarrassing myself is a fucking trigger. right? If I embarrass myself in like a big crowd or something, or somebody embarrasses or humiliates me, that's a big trigger for me. So I didn't want to do that, but my friends were very insistent on it, and so I was just like, okay, fine, I'll fucking do it, right? I just have to make sure to let that I know that I'm gonna probably embarrass myself and such. But my friend, I was going in the middle, like it was 3 of us, right? And I was the second person going, and my first friend did so bad on the platform because he's decided that he's not gonna use the rope. So he was just jumping on the platform, falling off, and then jumping on the other part of the platform and falling off. I had a great laugh, but because of that fuck up, right? I felt a lot better because I had thought to myself, look, I might embarrass myself or something during this situation, but goddamn, I cannot be as bad as I cannot be as bad as my friend, right? So, there's that sort of feeling of gaining self-confidence, but it's not on the same level as Mika, where Mika is kind of provoking that. She's kind of implying that, like, into reality. It's not just like you're just kind of there and you witness someone be a fuck up and you're just like, whew, thank God that's not me, right? So there's that, and that's a nice little interesting detail on Mitsumi. So Mitsumi got to try a limited time drink. She really enjoyed it. It's her first time being in Star Max. It's her first time enjoying boba and everything. A lot of first time experience, and with the reminder of Shima, who's just like, hey, you should ask for ID and all that. She finally gets to fulfill her dream, fulfill her goal of asking for Kurume's ID. So that's very nice, and her stuff continues with this, but I am going to switch on over to Kurume now. Because for Kurume, she originally didn't really... she's not, like, keen on joining the student council in terms of, like, the way that Mitsumi wants to. She just felt like she was going to get left out because, as she saw with the with the people in her class, she can't get along with the trendy gals because that's never an option. That's not her favorite type of person, and she could never be friends with the girls flocking to some stud either, right? So she can't be friends with someone like Mika. She wasn't even thinking about Mitsumi, I suppose, right? She held Mitsumi in such a high regard. The girl who did all this fucking shit, right? She ran and puked on her teacher. She's a shadow boss. She's friends with both the stud and the trendy gal. What the fuck's going on? She's so far out of reach that Kurume probably hadn't even thought about her until she came right in front of her. But yeah, we've got Kurume, who just, she's just desperate to join some sort of community, because even though she she goes back into her shell a lot because she doesn't want to get made fun of. Perhaps that's something that had happened to her before. That's why she pulls herself back into her shell, and she finds it very hard to be buddy-buddy with people, especially with someone like Yuzuki. But that doesn't mean that she wants to be alone. She just wants to have some sort of community, find her own people. So, understandable. And we know that her resolve for joining the community isn't as strong as Mitsumi, because right after that she's just like, oh, maybe I should just go and just look at the literature club tomorrow. I don't want to join the student council, no thanks. But she and Mitsumi ended up getting really along with each other, which is very, very nice. And the next thing we saw was was Kurume inviting Mitsumi to a movie, right? This is a movie that's relating to an English assignment that they have to do, so it's good for their class, right? It's a good excuse to go out. But she ends up biting more than she can chew, as people just started piling up, and she just can't say no. And I very much feel that, right? Sometimes I'm asking a friend out to hang out and such, and then they'll be like, oh, can I bring my friend along? Can I bring my brother along? Can I bring my girlfriend along? And I'm just like, man, it's really hard for me to say no, all right? It's really hard for me to say no when my friend asks if they can bring other people. Sometimes it's hard, especially if I know that person, right? If I know the brother, if I know the girlfriend or something, I feel very bad for saying no. But I usually end up caving, and I'm just like, yeah, you know, even though I prefer for us to just hang out with each other, like, okay, you can bring these other people as well, alright? It's that sort of feeling. So I very much understand Kurume. And so with the whole group movie date that's going on, we can see that Kurume is only talking to Mitsumi, which very understandable. That's how I feel sometimes as well when I'm in groups with other people that I don't really hang out with. I only talk to the one person that I know. But I'm not like I'm not on the same level as Kurume, right? Where she's over here talking about the app for the vocabulary, the study method from the future, and we've got Yuzuki who's just like, oh, I use it too, isn't it great? But for Kurume, it's hard for her to interact with a trendy gal like her and just kind of backs off a little bit and it's just like, yeah, I guess. That sort of feeling, right? This is where me and Kurume kind of just detach a little bit. Just because you know, if somebody comes and talk to me, I'll be like, okay, that's pretty cool, right? I'll fucking talk back to you. I'm just the person who doesn't talk to the person if I don't know who they are, right? But if they come and talk to me, I'll be like, that's totally fine, right? Perhaps they're taking some interest and they want to talk to me and all that. That's totally fine. But for Kurume, it's hard because this is the type of girl that she does not like, right? The trendy gal, perhaps the sort of gal that would make fun of her, perhaps, and that makes her, so that even though Yuzuki isn't doing it, right, Kurume in her head is just kind of like, oh, maybe she is trying to make fun of me, so like she recluse and she just gets back into her shell. And we continue to see this as Yuzuki is just trying to fucking get along with her. I also feel really sad for her just sitting there and just drinking her coffee or tea or whatever. She's so sad. The FOMO! Ah! And then here's the whole caramel popcorn versus salted popcorn, and then we've got all these people who are like, oh, I'm caramel camp. And then we've got Kurume, who's in the salted camp, and then Yuzuki's trying to get along with her again, but didn't fucking work. And you know, that goes back to the whole, like, camp thing that I was talking about before it's like a pre-discussion before this discussion, you know? So, yeah, I kind of already mentioned that about the whole camp thing. I like that we've got Yuzuki, for the most part, like, apologizing, right, for saying, hey, I know that you only meant to invite Mitsumi, but now here's everybody else who's just a part of this group that you don't want to be, right? Understandable. And I like that I don't know why I can't remember the name of it. I'm only thinking of de-weaponizing for some reason. The tactic that she's doing, right, she's pulling back. Because for someone like Kurume, right, it's a little bit hard if you go very aggressive on her, right? Sometimes you have to pull back and just be like, hey, I know that you didn't want to do this and all that. Hold on, I have to look at what else is she saying. If you don't like people like me, don't force yourself to talk to me. You can just chill out. No need to ruin your day off. So, understandable, which kind of goes back to what Kurume is going to say in, like, this next scene, where she's just like, whoa. Of course it's hard for me to be buddy-buddy with people like you. I'm afraid of being made fun of. I retreat back into my shell. So, very, I was gonna say very fun. That's like one of my default words. Which I feel like will eventually land me in trouble at some point where I'm talking about something really bad. I mean, I probably have already done it, where I talk about something really bad, and then my default word comes out, which is, how fun. Anyways, yeah, I like that. She's just kind of deflating the situation, Yuzuki, I mean, with this tension that's between the two of them. And eventually, we've got Mitsumi, who realizes the issue, and she's thinking about how, like, oh man, I should have realized the compatibility with the group. She says, she didn't get. It's just that everybody else tagged along, so, you know. Not really Mitsumi's fault, but she's just she's assuming responsibility as the leader, as your future leader. And so yeah, we've got the awkward movie watch where Mitsumi ends up eating 2 popcorns at the same time and saying that she's now in Camp Caramel and Salted, and I already explained that or at least I tried to explain that in the pre-discussion, probably, the note-taking part. Maybe I can come with it clearer, right? You don't have to be on one camp all the time, right? You can always, and And with what I was thinking with Mitsumi saying that she's in Camp Caramel and Camp Salted, well, for her, you don't have to stay in one side forever. You can be in both camp if you really want to, right? And that kind of goes back to what Kurume had asked Shima and Mitsumi, where she said, it's just surprising. I mean, I thought you two get along even though you're so different, right? And that is something that we see with Yuzuki and Kurume's relationship. They're two different people, and yet towards the end of all of this, she is now she's now getting along with Yuzuki. But before that whole thing, and with the whole salted caramel, right? Kurume comes to the realization that, even though I do like salted popcorn, maybe I don't like sweet things as much, I found that I really like that sweet drink, and perhaps, some part of me does like this sweetness, right? Maybe I could also be in the caramel camp. And so I like that she sends a text to Kurume and says it very bluntly, right? Says it very bluntly that it's true that I don't like people like you, but I want to change, and I like to get to know you better. I was like, that's pretty nice, right? That's good. Starting off, even though they start off on the wrong foot, they're now going to be able to, or at least try to walk on the same path. Very nice. And the relationship, is now on the up and up, probably. And we've got Mitsumi, who's just like, oh, they're buddy-buddy now. Maybe this was all just a misunderstanding, right? She doesn't even realize that she was one of the reason why they're now getting along with, or at least the reason why Kurume decides that she's now going to try and get along with Yuzuki, right? Try to learn to know her better. So, very nice for Mitsumi. And towards the end of all of this, we've got Shima, who's asking her, was this your first time hanging out in Shibuya? What do you think about it? And she says, well, at first I was really afraid of this place because, well, she's a country bumpkin coming to the big city. A lot of people, a lot of tall buildings, very intimidating. And the whole thing with Tokyo as well, right? And then with Shima going and saying like, hey, I hope that eventually you'll find to love these places, Tokyo, Shibuya, and all that, all these big cities and all. And we have this final monologue from Mitsumi. God, all these words, all these names. She says, I think memories of places are memories of the people you went there. And so as she thinks about all the people, and she says, all these memories, which is why, and yeah, going through all these, and eventually we stop at Shima, where it looks like the world has literally stopped around them. Right? They're the only people moving in this world, or with just her groups or whatever. And so, yeah, we saw her, got a little bit of a blush, and she says, I'm sure I'll come to love this place. So to repeat the entire memory, or repeat the entire monologue, I think memories of places are memories of the people you went with there. Which is why she looks at Shima and then blushes, I'll come to love this place. Wow. I wonder why. I wonder why you're gonna come to love this place. But yeah, that's pretty much it for what I wanted to talk about. Really like this episode. I enjoy it. I'm excited to see the next episodes and such. So yeah, finally I can open the door here. God, I'm also in desperate need of a shower. Anyways, if I have anything else to say, I will write it in the description down below. Thank you guys for sticking around, and I will see you guys in the next episode.